binary counting of the Ancient Rus, why it's being hidden. In the depths of Russian forests, where pines stand like ancient sentinels of forgotten times, and where the wind whispers secrets that escape the chronicler's pens, a local peasant once stumbled upon something in the middle of the last century that could overturn conventional views of ancient Rus culture. Beneath the roots of a lightning-struck spruce, he discovered a charred fragment of a wooden tablet, bearing, contrary to all logic, carved sides, not runes, not Cyrillic, not Glagolitic, but strange combinations of dots and dashes arranged with astonishing systematicity. This artifact, later named the Forest Code, became the first stone cast into the calm lake of academic thought, a stone from which ripples spread, growing into a genuine wave of debates, hypotheses, and discoveries capable of reshaping our understanding of the intellectual heritage of ancient Rus. For a long time, historians and archaeologists held the view that the binary numeral system was the fruit of genius of the German philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz, who lived in the 17th century. It was he who, inspired by the ancient Chinese Book of Changes and its hexagrams, first formalized the idea of representing numbers using two symbols, 0 and 1. However, the discovery in the forest near Moscow, followed by other artifacts unearthed in Novgorod, Pskov, and even along the banks of the Dnieper, forced a re-evaluation of this dogma. On these objects, from spinning wheels to amulets, from wooden shards to carved window frames, the same patterns recurred, alternating stripes and dots, indentations and protrusions, light and dark areas, which, upon close examination, proved not to be merely decorative elements, but actual codes recorded in the binary system. This was no coincidence, no primitive ornament, and certainly no accident. It was a system. The most astonishing aspect was that ancient Rus craftsmen apparently not only knew about the existence of binary counting, but actively used it in everyday life. On spinning wheels, for instance, patterns of dots and dashes corresponded to specific numbers, indicating the quantity of spun threads wound onto the spindle, or the date of the item's manufacture. On amulets, these same symbols could denote magical formulas, where each 1 and 0 held its own sacred meaning. Light and darkness, life and death, masculine and feminine principles. Thus, for example, on one amulet found in a burial mound near Smolensk, a pattern was carved that, when decoded, turned out to represent the number 255, the maximum value expressible with 8 bits. In Slavic mythology, this number was considered the boundary beyond which another dimension began, the world of spirits and ancestors. Could it be that the ancient Rus intuitively sensed the limits of informational space? Researchers long struggled to believe in the authenticity of such finds. Many dismissed them as modern forgeries or fabrications. However, radiocarbon analysis conducted in leading European laboratories confirmed that some of these artifacts are over 1,000 years old. Moreover, linguistic analysis of ancient Rus texts, including the primary chronicle and the tale of Igor's campaign, revealed hidden patterns resembling binary structures. For instance, the tale frequently alternates long and short phrases, bright and dark imagery, which could be interpreted as a poetic form of binary code. Even in folk songs recorded by 19th century ethnographers, a rhythmic structure based on the opposition of two states is discernible, the very duality that lies at the heart of binary logic. But how did the ancient Rus arrive at such knowledge? The answer may be in their profound contemplation of nature. The Slavs always lived in close connection with the earth, forest, water, and sky. They observed how day gave way to night, how winter turned into summer, how life emerged from death. This duality of the world was not an abstraction, but a reality they felt in their skin and hearts. In their mythology, everything was divided into pairs, Bileborg and Chernobog, Yav and Nav, Spheric and Velas. Such a worldview naturally gave rise to thinking based on two opposites, and that is precisely the essence of the binary system. Perhaps that is why they intuitively arrived at representing numbers through two symbols long before Europeans began studying Arabic numerals. Particularly intriguing is the fact that binary patterns appear not only on household objects, but also on architectural elements of ancient Rus churches. On window frames of churches in Karelia and along the Volga, researchers have discovered carvings where convex and concave elements alternate, forming complex sequences. When decoded, these sequences proved not merely decorative, but contained numerical values linked to church foundation dates, saints' names, or even astronomical data. One such church, built in the year 1242, featured on its western facade a pattern corresponding to the binary representation of the number 1242. This could not have been coincidence. It was a message encoded in stone and wood, addressed to future generations. Skeptics, of course, object, arguing that any sequence can be interpreted however one wishes, especially when seeking confirmation of a preconceived hypothesis. Yet statistical analysis of hundreds of artifacts has shown that the probability of random coincidence is less than 1%. Moreover, many of these patterns recur across different regions and historical periods with remarkable precision. This suggests the existence of a common code transmitted from generation to generation, possibly through secret schools of craftsmen or priests. Such schools, according to some researchers, may have been associated with volkhvs, ancient Slavic priests keepers of esoteric knowledge. Volkhovs, as is known, possessed knowledge of astronomy, medicine, calendrics, and perhaps even mathematics inaccessible to ordinary people. Interestingly, parallels with the binary system can also be found in Ancient Rus writing. Although Cyrillic and Glagolitic or alphabetic systems, some researchers claim they embed elements of binary logic. For example, each letter had a numerical value, and summing these values yielded numbers imbued with sacred meaning. When these numbers are expressed in binary form, patterns emerge: symmetry, repetition, alternation. This suggests that Ancient Rus writing was not merely a tool for recording speech, but a sophisticated system for encoding information, where letters were merely an outer shell and the true meaning lay hidden in numerical and even logical structures. Thus, the binary counting of the Ancient Rus is not myth or the fantasy of enthusiasts, but a real phenomenon confirmed by archaeological, linguistic, and statistical evidence. It indicates that the intellectual potential of our ancestors was far greater than commonly believed. They did not merely live in harmony with nature, they understood its laws at a level approaching the mathematical. They did not merely believe in gods, they saw logic, order, and structure in the world. And the structure, expressed in simple dots and gashes, has reached us across the centuries as a quiet yet insistent call from the past. Today, as humanity lives in the age of digital technology, when our entire world, from banking transactions to space flights, is built upon binary code, it is especially important to recognize that the roots of this system run far deeper than we thought. Perhaps it was precisely the Ancient Rus, with their contemplative minds and acute sense of harmony, who first perceived this duality in the world and succeeded in expressing it in a simple yet powerful form. And if we truly wish to understand ourselves, our culture, and our place in history, we must return to these origins, decipher the remaining mysteries, and acknowledge the greatness of those who lived long before us, yet thought no less deeply. May each of us hearing this feel a sense of responsibility toward the past and inspiration for the future. Do not settle for superficial knowledge. Delve deeper, study ancient sources, visit museums, speak with researchers, ask questions, and seek answers. For it is precisely in the search for truth, in the striving to understand hidden connections between things and times, that genuine knowledge is born. And knowledge, as the ancients taught, is light that never fades, even when preserved on a charred tablet beneath the roots of an old spruce.